Right? Yeah. Hey, we back.
Yes, sir.
Inner Sanctum. We back.
Gay frogs. Michelle Obama
Has a cock. Joe died and dies tomorrow. He is old as fuck. We are so
All right,
fucked.
copyright. We gotta stop.
All right. Inner Sanctum. We
Inner
back.
Sanctum. What were you gonna tell me? He's gonna
Dude,
tell me
I was
something before the
cracking up.
podcast started.
Dude, I was stoned in fucking Renaissance and Enlightenment period, so like history class, basically. And we're talking about King Louis the 15th, and like there was like this, like hour 30 type like movie talking about the French Revolution, right? Mm-hmm. And they said he had a really hard time gaining respect of his people because he bagged the baddest bitch that possible, which at the time, not in today's standards, as a 14-year-old.
Probably stank too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everybody stank. They were
Gross.
basically washing each other with lard at the time, bro.
But what was his defect?
So since most of the kings in that time, like, you're getting just passing on the same fucking bloodlines.
Incest.
Correct. And he had a very deformed penis. So they went to go consummate the marriage. Homeboy couldn't get his unit to work.
What does that mean by deformed? Like he had a duck dick or what? He had a corkscrew duck dick.
I don't know. I'll have to do some real digging on that, like to find out. I am? Oh, word. But basically, they go to consummate the marriage. His dick's fucked up, and he's like acts like he's not into her because he can't get it up, and so they act like it takes him a long time to fall in love with her. But while the whole fucking like the people he rules over are just like, haha, your dick don't work. You have the hottest bitch here. You can't even fuck her. Like but in this fucking like movie that she shows, I'm trying to remember what exactly they said, but they said that he had a very deformed manhood. Like talking about his
manhood.
That shit. I went like in the class. Like
I mean, I guess that's like not the worst thing ever. He could have had like
what
Down syndrome or like
fair, yeah.
A cognitive
I don't know.
issue where he couldn't be king and had to be a peasant that was like an incest baby.
But eventually, like she starts. Well, so the whole nation, whatever, is like making like propaganda about his dick and how they basically act like the queen is like out fucking other dudes because she ain't getting fucked at home type shit. So like nude painting propaganda type things. So they have a meeting. They're like, how the hell do we fix this? So he has to get emergency surgery on his wang just so he could bang. And they ended up having a kid, but he never escaped the weird dick allegations his entire life. And he wasn't respected until the day he died.
Yeah, well.
Because he had a bad dick.
Not a cool king. Not at all.
But, yeah, no, I found that shit funny as hell bright and early this morning.
Yeah, it's interesting.
What the hell are you talking about? Some Asian crap for this. What were you talking about?
Talking about what?
The Asian stuff. I don't know what country.
Oh, I saw this video.
I know you're talking about social credit score. And I'm so scared of that over here. I do
Well,
not
like,
do that.
I feel like the propaganda that we get here is that, like, China is, like, super, super terrible and, like, fucked up and, like, they're all in poverty and shit. But I saw this video. This guy, he used to live in Shanghai, China. And he said he lived there for, like, 4 or 5 years or something. And he moved away, like, right before, like, right during COVID. Because it got like super fucked up in COVID, obviously. So he left, but he went back there and he did like a video in like today's time in like 2023, and was like showing the whole city, like the people and all of that, and like they were actually like their city was like better than any city I've ever seen in America. Wow, like by far.
They do that shit with Russia though too.
But like you also got to think, because he said like it is true, like. They have cameras all over the city, and like if you get caught breaking the law in any way, like you will get fined for it, like through the cameras. Like nobody even has to see you do
Right.
it. And it's like an automated system. So you'll get fined and then you get a dock on your social credit score.
Fuck, dude. That's so gay.
So like it's super authoritarian and
So I
like
really don't know
draconian and you
the
don't have a lot of rights, but their city is like kind of thriving.
Like, I don't know the ins and outs of the whole like social credit score, but I imagine that it's on every time you apply for a job, every time you apply for like a college or anything.
Well, it even
or a
works for
loan
your
or anything.
privileges. Like they will cut off like what you can spend your money on.
That's good.
So if they decide you aren't allowed to get gas in your vehicle, then they won't let you.
You just get a better letter in the mail saying you're grounded. You're not allowed to leave. You're grounded. No hanging out with friends.
Basically.
That's fucked. Oh, does it go as far as like taking your electric away?
That I don't know. He didn't really talk about stuff like that too much. He mostly just like showed how the city was.
He was probably being a good boy.
It was interesting.
Damn, that's nuts.
Because like we're probably gonna end up like China.
You think?
I mean, yeah, the way it's going.
How so?
Like like the global leaders or whatever, they look at China as like a model for the future. So like like the
Like
world
in terms of like communism type shit?
Well, yeah, like the World Economic Forum and the global leaders and all of that come together at these conferences and stuff. Like all of the stuff they want is what China's already doing. So if they accomplish what they want to accomplish, then it's going to be similar to China in the Western world.
Rats. I don't want that.
Well, that's why we got to be a sovereign country and not
Meddling with other
not have a
world
world government that is like takes our sovereignty away and just does what they do to every country. But
man, there was another thing I was like pondering all damn day today that I wanted to talk about on here. I know it's conspiracy theory, but you got one on the brain, and then I'll wait for it to hit me back.
Big Pharma covered up cancer treatments.
That's a good one.
Like there's remedies out there that you can take that either stop the spread of cancer cells or kill them. Like two of them I know for sure that work are soursop and apricot seed.
Apricot seed?
Yeah.
What?
Yup. Kills cancer, but they don't let the public know any of that stuff.
I saw this one story about a dude curing cancer on I'm never calling it X, I'm only calling it Twitter. On Twitter, of this guy who was told he had like a few months to live. So like I think a couple years. Like I'm pretty sure a couple years. And he went on this crazy, he quit like everything else in his life and just like tried to dig as deep as he could to see if he could find a cure. And he fucking said that he came across this like somebody saying how they did this like dog dewormer thing. And they took this dog, like I forget if it was dewormer, heartworm, or whatever the fuck it was. But he just took this dog medication and it killed it in a month.
It doesn't surprise me. There's all kinds of things
out
out
healthy
there.
now. Can you look that up?
But
Never mind.
nah, it doesn't matter. We don't need it looked up. I mean,
Well, I'd
I
like
know
to
which
confirm
story
that,
you're
but-
talking about. I don't remember what he took, but like, doesn't surprise me that any of that stuff would be real because they're a business and they're profit driven. So their customers need to be sick people. They don't want the general population to be healthy. They want them to be sick because that's more customers and more money in their pockets. So it's not like crazy to think that they wouldn't want cures for illnesses.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Because they're not.
You've heard
like,
many people say this, but it's just
like
why-
the
there-
low
there's
level.
so much more money in treating something than curing something.
Right, and the problem
So-
is, like, if you say something like that, it sounds like you're, like, saying that doctors and medical professionals are evil, but they're really not. Like, the low tier, like, the small fish, like your doctors, your nurses, your physicians, all those people, they're good people for the most part, and they want the best for, like, the general public. But the information that they get and the information that they study in schools that they think is the right information isn't always the right information. And it's presented as right. Pause. Henry came in.
Get in. And stay out my water.
But yeah, it's
he knew we were recording. He's like, let me in. Damn glory hound can't help himself.
But that totally makes sense that they would do that. Like that the people that control the flow of information at these universities and all of that, the things that they're going to teach these doctors that actually want to do good for the world is going to be stuff that's not completely beneficial. It's a partial truth, or it's a medicine that they can use, but there's really a better medicine out there, and that information isn't readily available. Like, look at COVID, for example. Like, ivermectin, that's a drug that has been used by millions of people, and we know doesn't have adverse side effects. And there were studies that it shown.
There wasn't even any looking into it before it was slandered by every massive fucking news outlet.
There were studies on ivermectin with COVID right at the beginning that showed that it was effective at fighting off COVID, but once again, Big Pharma.
We tried it.
Yeah, but once again, Big Pharma doesn't want the fast cure like that, because then there's no fear of COVID at all. Like, nobody's going to be scared of it. They're going to be like, okay, I'll take some basically Dayquil and be fine. So, like, who cares? But they don't want that. They want to roll out vaccines and make you pay for those and make more money, make money on the COVID testing because everybody's scared of it and they want to test and make sure they don't have it.
That's a good point. I've wondered that with what other vaccine do you have to go get like 4 or 5 other boosters for?
Well, the flu shot is one that you have to get multiple times because you get it every year. Now, you don't get it multiple times a year, but that is a shot throughout history that you do get repeated.
I mean, while you're in school.
Because the reason, the reason for that, like for flu, for example, is because it mutates. Like the influenza virus will mutate, and then you have to roll out a new vaccine that fights that mutation of influenza. So, like, theoretically, if you did have a COVID vaccine that actually worked, not the one that they have now that clearly doesn't work or isn't worth the risk of it working. But if you did have one that did work, then every time COVID mutates, you're going to have to alter it to fight that mutation. And you would have to get multiple ones. But you don't have to do that because COVID isn't going to kill you.
So, yeah, like I was just thinking.
Like a virus that's not going to kill you, you don't need to get vaccinated. Just stay healthy.
Coming from somebody who was an instant, fuck this restriction, COVID's fucking bullshit, that you started off, what brought you to that? Like, what? Because nothing in your lifetime has ever, like, really showed you anything like that. So, like,
well, I don't trust pharmaceutical companies as a kid, even.
But it wasn't pharmaceutical companies yet. It was just like here's a
well, it was. It was
like,
from
in your brain.
The initial, like, we
alarm.
need to shut down for 2 weeks was the CDC. It was Fauci. And that is that's basically the pharmaceutical companies. It's not the companies, but it's the government agency that handles those companies. So it might as well be the companies. So I don't trust them because as a 4-year-old hyper kid, they decided that it was a good idea to basically put me on pharmaceutical meth.
Yeah,
so
no shit.
For my whole life, I don't trust pharmaceutical companies. Just because a kid's hyper, you don't put them on fucking stimulants and fuck up their brain. That's not right.
Talk about what that was like for you, taking that fucking like Ritalin type shit.
Well, yeah, it was Ritalin, but I don't know. It just makes you like a robot. Like, takes your emotions away and like suppresses your appetite. And like,
I remember that because we had bunk beds and we shared rooms as a kid. Like, and he would be up on the top bunk and I would just hear him rolling around being like, because it would wear off right when were about to go to sleep. So you would just get massively fucking hungry at like 9 o'clock at night when you're trying to go to sleep for school the next day. Like, and you were like fucking skin and bones your whole life, like until you got off of that fucking medicine and then you got fat.
I was in wrestling at like 5 years old, and I was on Ritalin, and like from the time that I was like started out in wrestling at kindergarten to the like time I got off Ritalin, which was like end of second grade, I didn't move up in weight at all. And like at that age, you're supposed to move up in weight classes like at least once per year. So like that right there is fucked up. Like a kid that like can stunt your growth, that can fuck up your bone development, all kinds of shit because you're basically malnourished.
Did you feel any like
And like
fucked up in your brain though? Like what was the brain chemistry like on that shit? Because when I took it, it gave me a totally different effect.
Well, it just makes you into like a zombie. Like if you actually do have like ADHD, it's like if you have ADHD, a stimulant doesn't make you hyper, it calms you down. So it's like getting tranquilized. That's what it feels like. Yeah. You're just like a zombie.
Yeah. Yeah, that fucking blows. I just remember all the times that he would get sweet treats every morning with his Ritalin mixed in. He was sprinkled on his toaster strudels, mixed up in milk. What other shit did you get to eat when you would take the pill every morning?
I don't know. I know I used to have to drink a Mountain Dew on my way to school, and sometimes I would just pour it in there. Because that's like that's extra stimulants, by the way. That's caffeine. So it's like if like just before this podcast, I drank coffee, and like coffee won't make me hyper. It'll like dial me in.
See, that's the opposite. I'm like,
yeah, it doesn't make me jittery. It makes me like calm.
Unless you like are pounding like 3 monsters in a row. I've seen you like have the little bit like that, but for the most part, I know what you mean. Yeah. Because if I drink one of those rehabs that you would pound, like I would feel that like instantly, like start shaking. But it was fine. That's like what you're signing up for. But like, yeah, no, I took his Ritalin one time. We went on vacation. It was kind of funny because I got like my parents were like, hey, no, let's just see how this is like for him. Fuck it, here, take his prescription. So I popped that bitch, and it felt like my brain couldn't fucking stop at all. It was just like. He was getting pit. Like he literally said, "Does this fucker have an off button?" Because I was in the back seat, like the third row of the van, and I was just like, "I'm talking. I just feel like I just can't stop talking. I like there's just something in my brain that just won't let me stop this talking. Like I just talking about whatever could pop into my brain. I just couldn't stop at all.
So like,
and it hasn't stopped since.
Yeah, damn near. But yeah, I feel like if you like go through something like that at a young age, like I already have a distrust of doctors. Like my physician who thought he was doing a good job didn't do a good job. So if I thought he was a good doctor and he turned out he didn't really know what the fuck he was doing either. So I don't really trust doctors, and I don't trust the medical establishment much.
Big Aaron Rodgers guy.
So like. Right away when they fucking did that shit, I was like, no, this is bullshit. There's no way this is like an apocalypse type deal like they're making it out to be. If they've got to overblow something that much and they got to make it all this dramatics and shit, then there's a reason for that.
I watched.
If you have to play it up, then it's not that bad. If you see them trying to play something down and they're trying to like, oh, it's not a big deal or something, then maybe like, look into it. But
did you see Dr. Phil spaz on one of those like morning talk shows where it's like the whole panel of women? They got the Whoopi Goldberg and shit. I forget what the name of this show is. Who cares? You shouldn't watch that shit anyway.
The View.
The View. He was spitting on the fact of just the impact on children having like. The shit was way worse with the COVID mismanagement than the fucking virus itself. And that we should look at how we handled that shit and look at how much it's fucked up a whole generation of kids that were like, they have to like have like a stunt in their growth with their social.
Well, yeah, I mean, even forget like the majority of kids, but just think about the percentage of kids that have to like have an abusive home. That they have like abusive.
That's what he was talking about.
Yeah, like if you grew up in an abusive home, like school is your escape from hell for 7 hours, and you get to be away from your abusive parents. And then you take those kids and you lock them in the home with their abusers for 2 years. That's like one of the most fucked up things I can think of. That's horrible. Let alone the average kids that do have a good life, like the damage you did to them, like stunting their learning and all of that, and their social skills. And
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the most like things I look back on with school, just like developing myself as a social creature. We're supposed to be social creatures. We're supposed to be interacting with people in our communities every single day. And when you take that away from the youth, you're supposed to like instill that in them, and you're not doing that. So
well, the fucked up thing is that they knew that was going to happen. They knew that was going to happen, and they did it anyway for a virus that they knew was not going to kill kids.
I made a fuckload of money like they wanted to. That was the goal. They achieved it.
Why you can't trust them. But like the liberal cult will sit there and just support them
just
blindly.
To talk about Fauci, like
because make no mistake, that's what it is. It is a cult. If you do not have any logic and you don't have any reasoning and you're just you blindly have faith in whatever your professionals are saying, that's a cult.
You're not thinking for yourself.
No, that's a cult. 100%. That's a cult. You're going. I am.
What do you mean by?
I'm going to submit to you. I'm going to turn off my brain and my decision making and my thought processing, and I'm going to let you make decisions for the greater good. That's what you would do for a cult leader. You would say, "Here's all my money. Here's my. I'm going to turn off my brain and follow what you say." That's exactly how a cult works.
Yeah, I mean that's any like a sort of religion. It's like look at how Christianity. It's like blind faith, and these people have blind faith to other humans,
right?
Like that are very prone to mistake as anybody else. I did it once.
Well, he's got the headphones. He can hear when we got the mic up or not. You let him out.
He's.
Oh, but dude, I was gonna say something about Dr. Phil. I saw him on Rogan's podcast.
That was a banger.
And did you see that he like exposed sex trafficking at the border?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, dude. Like
I didn't get that far into the episode.
He was talking.
I've seen a couple clips. I've watched.
He went to the
minutes.
border to see how bad it really was, and he was talking to like the border patrol people, and they like literally told him like there's 100% sex trafficking, human trafficking going on at the border right now.
Did I show you that clip, or did I not do it?
I don't remember you showing me it, but I watched like the podcast, like the full one.
Facts, because I remember I had that clip pulled up, and I told you that like Dr. Phil was doing his own news.
Yeah, he's starting his own news thing. Like
Good.
Instead of like mainstream media, he's starting his own like media outlet type deal.
That's what I believe. I believe getting individuals who are genuinely interested in helping the human race, as in, I mean, obviously everybody's going to agree with Tucker Carlson's line of thinking, but I do think that sort of journalism that's not necessarily agendized in the sense of it's conversational and it's a person digging, not being told by a corporation how to report and how to research certain shit.
Yeah, the problem is you can't let a select group of people control all the power. So like with education, for example, like we need to figure out a way for people to be able to make careers without having to go to universities, because whenever you make it to where you can't like get a job in a career because you don't have a degree from a university, then what you do is you allow all of these people who run universities, you basically give them like a monopoly on education. And they can do whatever they want with it. They can twist it in whatever way because you still have to go to them to get a degree to get a job.
That's what I'm saying. I literally am living
the
that.
way to break that is for people to like start being able to be independent away from these corporations where you have to have a degree. So like, for example, if you wanted to be a journalist or something, instead of going to a media outlet where you're going to need a journalism degree, you're going to need X amount of schooling, you're going to have to prove that you went to a good university and all of these things, you be an independent journalist, or you team up with a group of independent journalists, like say the Daily Wire, for example. That's a group of journalists that are like on their own, like Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson, who's more of like psychology more than a journalist, but he does journalism, and like all those other guys, and they come together. They're independent journalists. They don't have degrees in journalism, but they band together and they make their own media company. And that's the type of stuff where we're going to be able to get away from universities and take that power back as citizens, because that's what it's supposed to be. It is supposed to be like the citizens that have the power, not corporations and politicians and all that stuff. That's not the way our Constitution was designed. The power is supposed to be to the people. And I don't know where we lost that, but we need to get back to that.
Where I would like to see somebody try this, a different country maybe could adopt this, because I don't see it happening in America first. But Kanye was on the Lex Friedman podcast a little while back, and say what you want about Kanye, I would be interested in exploring this idea. He said normal schooling is doing nothing but holding people back, and you're learning shit you do not need to know.
Right. So parents need to start homeschooling.
So he says school should be only engineering, in the sense of there's a lot of different factions of engineering. You can have social engineering, you can have like law type of engineering, like societal shit, along with like mechanical, like scientific, like all kinds of different phases. But you're giving people, finding what the kids' strengths and what they love while they're in school, and then helping them have an easier path to push forward as a society, instead of filling their head with a bunch of bullshit that they don't even need to know. Do I need to know?
Right, and I do agree with that, but like you can't, it's going to be very hard to force those schools to teach things like that. It's way easier, even though it's a very hard thing to homeschool your kids. It takes a lot of sacrifices to make that happen. That's one of those things where we keep trading our freedoms just to make life easier and more comfortable. It's like if we instilled it on the other side, if you have a good family nucleus, you have a leader as the father and you have a nurturer as a mother, that family should be homeschooling their kids. We've
talked about it.
Figured out life, even though none of us really figure out life. But they've got to a place where they've got their grip on reality and they know how the world works, and they've managed to carve out their own slice of it. Those types of people, they need to teach their kids those lessons on their own. It doesn't need to come from a teacher. It needs to come from their parents. And how hard is it to teach somebody how to do basic arithmetic, how to add and subtract and multiply and divide and do fractions and decimals? Yeah, you could teach that to a kid in a year or less.
Yeah.
It same goes with reading. History, you can sit down and read history books with them and teach them about World War II,
probably teach them history better than normal going to class.
100%.
Listening to a lecture.
But that takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of effort, and like I said, a lot of sacrifices. You got to be willing to not have a lot of material things because you're sacrificing time that you're spending at work to spend with your kids and to teach them about the world and turn them into functioning members of society. But people don't want to do that. They want to trade their freedoms for something that's easier. It's easier for me to just send my kids to school and let the teachers have the responsibility of teaching them how to be members of society. That should never be how it works. I don't know how we got to a point where that is like the form that we've chose.
I mean, I see what you're like. Just going through university myself at this present time, it's where, especially because it is journalism too. It's like where we're kind of seeing this way out of it. The only thing that I can only say that I'm getting a big benefit out of is seeing what this generation that's coming into the workforce is looking like, and it's not good. Like I see, it's not educational in the sense of like things that I need to know. So like you pay thousands of dollars to pay for shit where I can get almost a better education on fucking YouTube. Like I can look up history lessons, I can look up math lessons, I can look up fucking, bullshit.
Right.
That,
well,
that
there's
goes
too
along
much
with
catering going on.
But if you teach me how to be in my profession, to teach me how to be an adult, how to make my life better.
But when you talk about the problem with the workforce right now, it's really simple. You make it impossible to not work. Like if you make incentives for the people that work and you punish the people that don't, then it's going to force people to have to work.
Yeah.
But they don't want to do that. They don't want to make people's lives hard because then they're going to cry about it.
So you're saying pull up the bootstrap, pull them up.
Well, I'm just
Get out.
saying, like, it should be a free society. It should always have been a free society, and the strong rise to the top and the weak fall to the bottom. But what we keep doing is the strong that are rising from the top have to attach themselves to the people at the bottom and pull them up, and you're pulling dead weight.
You're running with ankle weights.
Yeah, you're sitting there, you're paying 30% of your income to support people who can't even get up off their ass and go to work. So you're spending 30% of your income on a group of people that are doing nothing. Those people should sink to the bottom, and they should be in poverty because they earned to be in poverty.
Yeah.
They made life decisions that sunk them to the bottom, and they deserve to be at the bottom. They don't deserve to be attached to somebody who has sacrificed a portion of their life to carve out a piece of the world and delve into a career and like actually make something of themselves. And they had to sacrifice all kinds of shit and go through all kinds of hard things to make it successful. And you just attach them to them and have them fucking support them. It doesn't make any sense. The strong should rise and the weak should fall.
I always just look at certain people, and the people that I really don't like getting along, like I just can't understand their brains on this sense of like your outlook on how hard people work is all people who, or not all, it's like a good portion of people who haven't got to where they want to be and are poor and don't have anything, which not different. It's just a different fucking mindset over here. But they look at an Elon or Jeff Bezos and whoever that has done a lot, sacrificed a lot of shit to get to where they are at. And they're like, nah, they just need to be taxed most of their income, blah, 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 blah. Like, take all that shit away from them. I'm like, why not just look at that and be like, you know, what makes him so much different than another? I mean, obviously there's certain
Well, there's a logic.
things.
There's a logic fail in that because where do they think the tax money's going to go? It's not going to go to you.
Yeah.
It's not going to go to your schools or your roads. It's going to go to fucking Ukraine. It's going to go to Ukraine so they can launder the money over there.
It doesn't go to Ukraine. It goes into politician pockets. That's what.
Well,
happens.
yeah, but the bills are saying it's going to Ukraine, and really what it is they're laundering money so that it can come back here and into the pockets of politicians. Why else would they vote on it? It doesn't make any sense to vote on it unless you're getting paid to fucking vote on it. It's not our country. It doesn't benefit us. They're going to lose anyway.
I love giving all of our shit to Ukraine while our own big cities that were once beautiful places are falling apart. Good job.
They're going to
We're doing
lose
great.
anyway. Dude, they're like literally out of soldiers. It's to the point where they're like bringing females into their army because they're out of men.
Putin's fucking doing his Madden celebration, running into the end zone. Basically,
Yeah, literally,
at the
like
moment.
all of their citizens hate Zelensky. They want him gone.
Really?
He has completely ruined their country. It's all propaganda that
Where'd you
he's
see
winning
this?
the war. A journalist just went over to Ukraine last week, and
Was
he
just
did a
pulling
whole
people off
report
the
on it.
streets?
He talked to all these families that have lost all their sons. All their sons are gone. Anywhere in Ukraine that isn't an active war zone where there's a population of people is like 90% women because all the men are dead. And they're starting to pull women from civilians and turn them into soldiers. And they're doing the same with kids now, too. They're taking kids, pulling them, like teenage kids, pulling them out of their homes, sending them to a 2-week training camp, and then putting them on the front lines. And they're just getting sent into a fucking meat grinder.
It's fucked up.
Yeah, it's completely fucked up. And we're the ones funding it.
Funding it completely. There's no way they would have the fucking arms to be able to do it without us. So that shit would be done tomorrow if the U.S. was like,
Nah, dude, they want a revolution. That's what there's no other reason they would do all this shit to piss people off. They want a revolution.
revolution?
Yeah, they want all of the Western countries to overthrow their government so a one world government can swoop in and be the savior. That's what they want. So they're going to keep on doing bullshit and keep on doing bullshit until the tensions rise enough to where there's a civil war or an overthrow of the government. Right. And then at that point, they're going to swoop in and be the savior. That's the playbook.
I don't know. At the same time, I can look at like a revolution happen in this country, and if it was it happened the right way, it would be a very great thing. Like, just that is the only fear, is that are we doing what they want us to do type shit. You know what I mean? Like, if we do try this revolution, is it like a we'll see kind of thing? Like, we think it's good now and it's fucking us for centuries? Like, type, you never
Well, what would happen is we would revolt against our government, and if we overthrow them, China would move in and wipe us out and take us over. That's what would happen.
See, I just can't see that.
Because as soon as we take out our government and we fight with our own military and we're fighting each other, all they've got to do is swoop in at that moment, and we're as weak as we've ever been, and they'll take us right over.
Letting the fire fight the fire. It's pretty scary.
Yup. Get ready for famine.
Famine.
Famine and pestilence.
Yeah.
Unless RFK saves us. He takes down Big
Maybe
Pharma.
he's the Antichrist.
Nah, Antichrist is going to come from Jerusalem.
Yeah.
That's
I
like,
believe that's coming.
I don't know if I already talked about this on the podcast, but
They built.
yeah,
Yeah, we talked.
yeah, they're constructing the third temple, and they're saying that their Messiah is going to come. And what the Bible says is that the Antichrist is going to sit in the temple of Jerusalem and persecute Christians from across the world.
We'll see. I just can't see. The way we are as humans, though, it's like I'm curious to see if one person can really win over almost everybody. Because it's like most people, when they get up to the top, it's everybody hates you. So it's like, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Till he performs miracles and all kinds of shit. And like
Shit,
I said,
Mr. Beast
like
has
I
done
said, how there's
miracles.
going to be a famine and there's going to be pestilence. He's going to be the one that pulls us out of that. The Antichrist will. He'll be the one that solves famine. So that like everybody in the world's going to be hungry, and he's going to be the one that feeds everybody. He's like, there's going to be a giant pestilence, a plague, and he's going to be the one that heals us from the plague, and people are going to love him, and that's why.
I'm telling you, the more and more we've talked about, because we've been talking about since the summer, of who we think the Antichrist is. It's looking more and more like Mr. B is gonna be that guy, bro. I don't know what it is, but dude, everything that it says that the Antichrist will do is like curing the blind, fucking curing.
That's not what he's going to do.
Bringing water to Africa, like building wells,
No.
like, bro, curing famine, doing miracle.
No,
What do you- I
that's
mean-
not even close, dude. You think that an apocalypse is going to be what we're living in right now? You think this is an apocalypse? Absolutely not, dude. This isn't even but the birth pains of it. It's going to be mass famine, everybody starving, a plague, wars in every country, mother against father, daughter against mother, brother against brother, everybody at each other's throats. Almost no Christianity left in the world.
Yeah, so
There's
we're
a
fine.
reason that it says that almost nobody will endure till the end, because it's going to get that bad.
Well, then
That's
we're
an
not even-
apocalypse.
Yeah, so then we're not close to that point. So
That we're not there
So,
yet,
well,
but
we
it could
talked about
happen
it.
like that.
I don't really think it works like that. That's a big buildup.
Not really.
But you don't think
That could happen in less than 2 years.
We'll see. I mean, maybe, but
Well, it starts. That's the order that it goes in. It starts with war. So just think about it logically. If there
Wars
was,
have never
it's going to be a giant war that involves every country. So if that were to happen, and say somebody sent a nuke at somebody, and they sent one back, and another country sent a nuke, and the other one sent one back, then like every country on the planet could all get fucking nuked. And then what's that going to do? We're going to have no food. What's that? Famine. What's going to happen when nobody has food and we've nuked everything and the sky's all gray and covered in soot and ash and we're not getting vitamin D? A plague.
This is what
a plague
Nostradamus
will
said.
happen. And then,
Nostradamus said it would be nuclear. I'm already hip. I know
well, yeah,
that's gonna
because
happen.
war is going to come first, riding on the red horse, It's because the four
No,
horsemen.
he talks about massive explosions, which that's because he saw it all. Has allegedly is what it's all visions.
I don't know
So-
if I believe Nostradamus.
Look into it, bro. Motherfucker
I
called
have.
Hitler. Motherfucker called Napoleon.
He did not. He said his name was his store.
It's,
And he didn't. The Napoleon one is loose as can be.
Look it up. It's pretty spot on. The Hitler one's uncanny. Like, he called, and then he says the Third World War starts with the fighting of an eagle and a bear. Do you understand the metaphor there?
I would guess that the bear's Russia.
Correct.
But yeah, I mean, like just logically, like the order
And
that
it's
it
nuclear.
goes in
So,
in Revelation.
You agree that's pretty likely.
I mean, that could happen, but the order that it goes in Revelation is war, then famine, then pestilence, then death. Those are the four horsemen. So war comes first.
Yeah.
Everybody nukes each other, wipes out all the farms and all of that, and we have no food anymore. The cattle are dead. The animals are polluted with radiation. So are the crops. We have no food. Everybody's hungry. That's mass famine. That comes after war. So those are your first two horsemen. And then the third horseman would be pestilence. Well, when the sky's covered in ash and it's all gray and you're not getting enough sunlight, that lowers your vitamin D, which lowers your immune system. And then, boom, a plague happens. And then after that is death.
I just dove down a YouTube hole on this matter of fact of the horsemen and what all is to bring.
Right. So that
the
could, like,
apocalypse.
that's something that could happen, like, super fast. Like, if a World War III started, then boom, boom, boom. That could happen like that.
Yeah, but it also says like everybody will feel it coming. Like it's
Well, have you not seen how many people are predicting the end times right now? More than any other time in
But
history.
that's happened even like back in like 2012.
Here
That's
and
been
there.
happening. I mean, bro, that was the loudest I ever heard it. Was everybody talking
Yeah,
about.
but that was the Mayan
And
shit.
Y2K is way bigger
That was the
than now.
Mayan shit. Nobody has ever talked about the Christian apocalypse till right now.
True. I mean, the Christian, yeah.
People
Yeah,
have thought all
true.
kinds of other things on why the world's going to end, a comet or the Mayans predicting it or a super volcano or whatever, but none of those things are the Christian apocalypse. The one that we would like that says that we will get signs of it, that sons and daughters will have visions of it and all kinds of things. It's like there's been more people talking about it right now than any other time in history.
I have mine. I have my dream about it not that long ago. We talked about that on the Patreon. Check it out. That was what else you got written down?
I'm about out of notes.
Let's see what you have here.
I already talked about all this.
I just want to read this list out loud. Brotherly banter notes. China video. Dr. Phil exposing sex trafficking at the border. Liberal cult. Natural treatments for cancer that are repressed. Sour sop, apricot seed. RFK taking out Big Pharma.
Yeah. I already.
Yeah, we hit them all. Where we at? 43. Damn, cooking right along.
What do you have? I came prepared. What the fuck did you prepare?
Well, like we talked about, I can roll with the punches.
Well, fucking start punching then, bud. I'm out of punches.
I got the punches. What am I?
Sorry,
absorbing right
audience.
now?
I'm still sick. Caught fucking disease X.
Oh, just I've come across. Speaking of JRE episodes, did you watch that Kid Rock clip?
No, I don't really like Kid Rock that much.
Neither do I. But he brought up and confirmed Bohemian Grove. He's been there himself, and they said this is how they fucking get all.
Alex Jones confirmed Bohemian Grove.
but hearing like a celebrity that's like seeing how they're taking these guys and like stripping them of their souls and like all this other like crazy dark shit. It's like they go worship the owl. I told you, you gotta look up the video of they literally Alex Jones got the video of
I've
them
seen it.
praising it. Like,
I've seen it.
You saw
they burned an effigy and everything.
Yes, okay. So you did see it. Yeah, bro. That shit is real as fuck. And the people everybody looks up to most likely are a part of it. It's the most influential people on planet Earth that are a
Do
part
you know
of this
what?
shit.
Do you know what the number one cause of death is in America? What more deaths have happened than anything else?
I would assume overdose or suicide.
Abortion.
No.
Child sacrifice.
No. That can't be right.
There's been more abortions than any other murders or anything like that.
I think it's fentanyl overdose.
That's what I thought.
It
I
might
thought
be
it was drug
fentanyl,
overdose.
but
well,
just
at least in America.
even if it's not number one, just think how many abortions there are in the United States. That's literally child sacrifice. And who are the ones reporting it? All the ones that go to Bohemian Grove. They want us to sacrifice our children to Malak.
Talk about them Hillary emails that you came across and you put me on to.
Well, I can't without telling the story of the Kandahar giant first.
Yes. I was wondering if you would go there.
Give me
Nephilim.
give me to say something real quick while I look up the story so I don't
There's
butcher
this
it.
story that happens over in Afghanistan.
No, don't tell the story because you're gonna butcher it. I'm looking the story up right now.
Well, if you really want the best version of that story, check out Mr. Ballin. That's the fucking man. Love you, John. Whatever, Ballin. Fuck his name. But so I always look for confirmation in some of the because I'm a person that's fascinated with like mythical type of things and like things that are beyond like a human capacity, in the sense of if there's giants, if there's cryptid type of beings, if there's things that are advanced a little bit,
Okay,
less
so
than humans but are still out there. But the Nephilim are a huge thing for me because that's what I think Bigfoot are. I think that they're Nephilim. I've heard days of them talking, but Hillary and the original email kind of scandal back in 2016 around the election of Hill Dog v. the Don, like they fucking released some of these emails and she's asking to see the Nephilim. So here you go. You got it?
Yeah, so in 2002, a special forces troop stumbled upon a giant in a cave in Kandahar, and he had giant food and
Giant food.
Yeah, like
what is giant food? He got
like
big
he had
chicken legs?
like a cave. He had like a cave full of like big ass bones and shit like that. Like presumably like maybe like former family members that have died and like their remains were in there. So they said it was food, but they like giant bones basically. But supposedly he was 13 feet tall, had red hair, 6 fingers on each hand, and 2 rows of teeth. And the giant like is supposedly responsible for the vanishing of like a whole crew of special forces.
Special ops, yeah.
But like as the story goes, they killed the giant and then hoisted the giant's corpse onto a helicopter, and it was never seen again. But then Hillary Clinton was asking around those same time in her email. I think the email that she sent about the Nephilim was in like 2004. And this was in 2002, and she was asking to see the body of the Nephilim. So, like, the conspiracy theory is that like they really did kill a Nephilim in a cave in Kandahar, and they transported it back to the U.S. and like held the body captive.
Ones that survived it and killed that motherfucker, they all came back to be debriefed and all said the same exact thing. Like they were like, we saw this. This is no bullshit.
Right.
And then they were told, you can never talk about this.
And they had to change their report.
Yeah. They were forced to change what they reported.
Yeah.
That's fucked. Like that is one of those things. Like mark one up for the Bible being right, because that's got to be a fucking Nephilim. Like there's no that's the only thing that ever mentions a creature like that, and that would be literally to a T what I would picture when I read that type of thing. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah.
And I still think they dwell the earth, bro. Like,
well, their spirits
it would make
definitely
sense. It's
do.
over in the Middle East too.
Their spirit, it specifically says in the Bible that their spirits like never leave the earth, and they like their spirit will possess mankind. Like the Nephilim spirit will go into mankind and like corrupt us and like certain people.
I don't know. What do you think of my theory on them possibly being some of those Nephilim being Bigfoot?
I don't think Bigfoot's real. I think people see bears walking on 2 legs and they think it's Bigfoot.
There's been some, bro. There was this fucking
Seen anything convincing.
There's
on
one
Bigfoot.
thing that I saw that I was like, bro, okay, I that one sold it for me. Where all you see all these videos of them walking around. It's not, you don't see them. It's this group of dudes that went camping and they're in this fucking log cabin. But down by the water, they're all like sitting in this thing. Like one person or one of the dudes is awake and starts hearing like these things talking back and forth. Like I would show you after this. But
feral people, bro.
Perhaps they could have been.
There is feral people
but the
out
way
there.
that they were talking, like, would send chills up my spine. I was like, dude, that is like human, but not human. Like that sounds like they are communicating in some type of language, but it's like totally.
Well, we do know that feral people exist. That is a real thing. Just look at the North Sentinel Island or whatever. The North Sentinelese.
The one that's like not like it's
uninhabited. They think that they were
territory.
original ancestors from Africa that traveled over to that island and never contacted any other civilization since. They haven't even
What they look like?
They haven't even discovered fire yet. They wait for lightning to strike and then go collect the embers and then use it as fire. They haven't even discovered how to make fire.
Damn, bro, they must look crazy.
So those
You look
people,
up a picture of what they look
those
like?
people are an example of feral humans. So if they exist on that island, to assume that they don't exist anywhere else in the world is like there's no way that they don't.
I mean, that's a good theory on what that could have been, but dude, I'll have to show you this shit. Like, and they would hear like them like whistling hella loud back and forth, and just I don't know. You hear weird shit like if I think that there's shit that like predator type shit like we talked about on the last one is out in the woods. Like, who the fuck knows what else is out there?
Skinwalker.
And yes, I believe that, bro. I've already read that book, and that blew my fucking mind. Like,
I think there is.
they said a goddamn werewolf jumped out of a portal, bro. Like scientific.
Dude, I heard this story the other day of this witch that was like she turned into a bobcat.
What?
So this guy, he
What are
was
those,
like
like,
he was a wildland firefighter, and he was like going out to go stop this fire, and it was like this old logging road, and he was driving down this logging road, and he saw a bobcat in the road, and like he said, like the way it was looking at him and the way it was standing, it made no sense because bobcats, one, are nocturnal, and also they are like super elusive, like. They don't, like, if you see a bobcat, it fucking, like, darts off immediately. Like, they don't hang around humans at all, let alone, like, in the daytime. They're nocturnal creatures. So, right away, it was, like, odd. This bobcat was standing, like, right in the middle of the logging road, staring right at him. And then he said it made this weird scream that was, like, almost human-like.
What?
And then it freaked him out. And then it darted off, and then it went to this tree and climbed the tree, and the tree had like a canopy that went over the road, and it perched right over the road, and he had to drive like right under it. And then
It hopped on his car.
and then he stopped. He got to where he needed to go. He saw this cabin in the woods, and he like went up to the cabin. He was like super creepy cabin. Let me see what's in here. And he looks into the cabin, and he sees all this furniture like in the cabin, but it's all turned over upside down. And he's like, what the fuck? And he just like runs out of there, and he's like super freaked out. He's got this weird feeling that somebody's watching him. He's like, keeps looking over his shoulder, and then he gets in his car and he hauls ass out of there.
And the cat's in the back seat.
But then he's got to keep going like back the same direction he went on this road where this bobcat was. But this time, right where the bobcat was, there's like this old looking lady, and she's doing the same thing the bobcat was doing. And like standing in the road, and then screams at him, and then darts up, runs up the tree, and sits on the canopy.
Hell?
And then
She's
like
an animorph.
and he stayed in this town after they got done fighting this fire, and then went to a bar in that town, and like to one of the locals there, he was like saying, I went out on this logging road, yada yada. Have you guys ever seen anything weird out there? And then like the local was like laughing at him and like, I don't know. Like when I was a kid, there was this legend that there was a witch out there who like turns into a bobcat.
He was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I saw the cat lady. That's
So
what,
it-
that's
like,
what
to
old
me,
cat
isn't
ladies
that-
evolve
isn't
into.
that
They
kinda
eventually
what
just
a-
gain the ability to turn into a cat themselves.
Isn't that kind of what the Indians think the skinwalkers are though too? Like they're shapeshifters, like
Yes.
they can shift from
Correct.
human to an animal or
Yes.
whatever too.
Yes. They
So
can
maybe
take
he
any
saw a
form.
skinwalker.
Perhaps. Bruh, Whew, if I saw one of those things, I would shit my pants quicker than anything else, bro. Because those things, they say, can run faster than cars.
Skinwalkers?
Yeah. Have you heard of the one where they fucking on Skinwalker Ranch, and then there was another case at another fucking house where a whole family said they saw like 10 foot, 11 foot tall wolves, like giant fucking black wolves.
Chupacabra?
Nah, no, chupacabra. Them little boys, them little lads. But the big ass wolves, like they were like jumping on the roof and shit. They were running around, and they're like feel that like a whole family living out in the woods. They like they showed like the scratches, like there was like they left traces of like there was clearly something there, and they said like it was so tall where they felt like they were up on the top floor and it was still like looking in at them.
Yeah.
Like they had a 3-story house, and they said this thing was looking at
Ranch is like interesting. Like the wolf story there, the orbs. I don't know. That place is like an anomaly. Like it's
portals. If I saw a fucking portal, I would.
The walls.
Would you jump through a portal? Like if you saw a Rick and Morty portal, would you jump through that bitch? Would you? Like a Rick and Morty type of portal.
Yeah.
Would you?
I
it
would.
Closes right behind.
Because I know me. Like if I saw a glowing light somewhere and like it looked like a portal, I would be like,
"Please be heaven. Please be heaven."
Yeah,
please
that's
be heaven.
exactly what would be going through my mind. It's like, oh, this is God or an angel or something, and I would go through.
Taking a fast pass to heaven.
Well, I would think that it's a vision, like it's trying to show me something. So I would walk into it and see what it is.
Until it's Rick and Morty.
And then you go to Poop World.
And you see Mr. Poopy Butt or whatever the fuck his name is.
Mr. Poopy Butthole.
Yeah, Poopy Butthole. Yeah. Where are we at?
56.
All right, about done.
That was a good one.
Couple more minutes. Barack Obama's gay.
God, you keep this horse, man. Leave the Obama family alone already. Next, I'm gonna get a president from.
Well, he's still running the country, bruh. I can't let him off the hook. I can't let him just lurk in the shadows. He's the one running this country still.
Maybe. You don't know.
He is, dude. His whole
I don't think the president
Biden's
ever
whole
runs it.
cabinet is just basically Barack Obama's
That's my
cabinet copy
thing.
and paste.
I don't think any president runs shit.
They
They're
probably
just
don't.
The face of the country.
They probably don't.
They do a little bit of things.
They be lying to
But
us.
they're an image thing, just as much as like to me personally.
Yeah, it's like a show. It's like a reality
it's like a
TV
queen.
show.
It's like the queen to me. It's the president. Oh, Mr. President.
Yeah, it's literally just a reality TV show for them. They just go on TV and act. That's insane that we've got to that point. But yeah, we'll wrap it up there. You know, this is my album of the podcast here.
Baby
It's
Wiener
Nevermind
by
by Nirvana. Fun fact, that baby with his dick out tried to sue Nirvana. I don't think he won.
But baby got damn near abs, bro. That's crazy.
I don't know. But he chasing that money.
Ass smart, baby.
That's
Boss Baby.
That's Nirvana's best album.
That's the original.
If you don't know Nirvana and you're interested, go to Spotify and put on Nevermind.
No Nirvana. That's
Well, some people know of Nirvana, but they've never heard their music. So if you wanted to hear their music and see what the hype is around Nirvana, listen to Nevermind. Probably like it. Lithium's good. Drain U's on there. Smells like Teen Spirit.
Now that I'm at the end of this episode, dude, I got 3 planned for like I get spring break next week, and I've been writing. I got my 3 things I got 3 5-minute open mics, but I got the street urchin biz, the do man story, and then mom being the. Did he just puke?
No, I think he was scratching something.
But then mom's roast against me of all time. Do you remember that time where she read my Facebook messages out to our whole family of whenever I was...
Well, don't ruin your bit, dude.
This will be later down the road, but... I mean, this is just working out new shit, but the original story behind this topic was... whenever I first got Facebook, I was in 5th grade, and the school I used to go to, there was only one girl that I remembered and I liked.
and I was like trying to riz her up the best way a 5th grader knows how. I'm like, what is attractive to girls? And I was, mind you, I was a fat kid, looked like a potato with pitchfork hair and fuck up teeth. I was texting this bitch. I had new pearly white teeth and a 4-pack, bruh. Mom, our mother, looked like 4-pack of fucking snack pack pudding cups, maybe. And I was like, oh, bruh. She like, so she reads the entire transcript in front of the whole family, like Chris Hansen style. Like, what did you mean by that? Like, bruh, it put me on blast. And then the other time that she got me was one of my like childhood best friends. Like, there was this one homosexual kid that went to the town over, and he was actually a cool guy and whatever, but he had a crush on me.
Not a cool guy, super fucking annoying, kind of like.
Yeah,
like when you see a female and you think cunt, that is like this guy, but he's a gay guy, so it's like
this isn't who you think. No, not him. And I like him still. That's still we have love's not lost on that guy. But also, it was you didn't go to the same school as me. If that gives you a little bit of like who that is.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking of that same guy then.
My buddy that was staying the night with me that night got on my Facebook because I was notorious for always falling asleep first, and he knew this dude had a crush on me, and was like texting him like sweet dreams, I'll talk to you tomorrow, babe, some shit like that, but then deleted the message and I never saw it. So I wake up the next morning and I guess mom for one screenshot, because it was one of those like late night kind of things, so they see these messages and then his reply in the morning. So all I saw was his reply, and I was just mad confused. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? But mom found the originals with that reply and was like, then pressed me in front of her friend and then mom and dad and asked me if I was gay because I was telling another gay kid, sweet dreams, babe, some bullshit like that. She was like literally like gaslighting me almost into being gay. She was like, it's okay. I'll still love you the same. I'm like, dude, I'm not gay. And like enough to where her friend was like, I don't think he's gay. I think this is what he's telling. No, I don't know. His other best friend's gay too. This is a lot. Like, is there something you're not telling me? I'm like, no. And so this is like, I was like 6th, 7th grade. And I went back to my room and I listened to that fucking song by Macklemore. It was like, in the 3rd grade, I thought I was gay. Like, it was just like just because you get told that many times by your own mom is like, you do act gay, you do a little bit of gay shit. Are you gay? So I went back to my room like, am I gay? Like, no, I totally like girls. I've never dated a guy. I've only dated girls. Like but plan on getting into that. But I don't know if you remember those times where mom got my transcripts, Chris Hansen style, and pressed me on them both times.
But that's pretty gay.
Oh, no doubt. Imagine trying to walk that back, dog. But I guess we'll wrap it up there. If you see that and you see me one day on stage, say that bit. Congratulations, you saw the birth of it. But peace out, like, comment, subscribe, all that gay shit, you know, and check out the Patreon, the real nitty gritty of what we are all about. But much love, peace out.